Welcome to Realms Unveiled, where the veils between reality and mysticism grow thin. Journey with us as we delve deep into the enigmatic worlds of magic, the occult, and witchcraft. Here we unravel chilling tales where the arcane meets the real. Stories that aren't just mere folklore, but spine-tingling encounters from the shadows of everyday life. Blurring the lines between the tangible and the supernatural, we bring to you a blend of harrowing true crimes and tantalizing tales crafted by our very own, showcasing the mesmerizing yet perilous dance between the mystical and the mortal. So, light a candle, cast your protective circle, and let's unveil the realms that lie just beyond our comprehension. Prepare yourself, for once the unseen is seen, there's no turning back. Stay spellbound, and always tread with caution. Today we have an extended tale about when beauty meets wisdom and game meets discernment. In The Tenant, or should we say squatter, from hell. In the sleepy town of Edenshire, word spread quickly about a mesmerizing tenant named Leela. With raven black hair, piercing blue eyes, and a captivating aura, she was a figure of intrigue. It was her sob story as a struggling single mother that made her memorable and induced sympathy among Edenshire's inhabitants. But to the few men who had been ensnared in her web, she was a tenant from hell. Leela had perfected the art of manipulation. She'd saunter into a new town, spin a tale of woe, and swiftly have landlords bending over backward to accommodate her. Their empathy, fueled by her beauty and the sight of her young son, usually meant she stayed rent-free. Yet there was a more sinister side of Leela. As an adept witch, she wove enchantments to cloud men's judgment, and if they ever dared to cross her or ask for overdue rent, her vindictiveness knew no bounds. False accusations, dark spells, and life-altering curses were her weapons. Enter Lawrence, an older gentleman who had recently put up his beautiful countryside property for rent. A widower and retired professor, he had lived a life rich with experiences, and yet his solitude made him yearn for companionship. When he met Leela, he felt an immediate connection, not just to her, but to her boy, reminding him of his own grandson. Their relationship began innocently enough, friendly chats that grew longer, shared meals, and moments of vulnerability. Lawrence was soon smitten, and Leela, sensing an opportunity, drew him deeper into her web. Lawrence, despite his age and wisdom, was not immune to her enchantments, both magical and emotional. Months went by, and as Leela grew more demanding, Lawrence began to feel the strain. Payments were missed, and Leela's once sweet demeanor turned sour. Every confrontation led to a new threat. Lawrence, cornered and fearful, sought legal advice, but was met with skepticism due to Lila's past accusations against other landlords. It all came to a head one stormy night when Lawrence found himself confronted not by Leela, but by the echoes of his own past. Pictures of his late wife scribbled over in dark ink, shattered memories of his grandchildren, and a home turned upside down. Lawrence, realizing the depth of Lila's witchcraft and the gravity of his situation, decided to confront her. As he made his way to her part of the house, he stumbled upon her altar, candles, dark symbols, and a vial that seemed to contain a shimmering liquid. On an impulse, he grabbed it and kept it safely with him. The confrontation that ensued was nothing short of explosive. Accusations flew, paths were dredged up, and the atmosphere was electric with tension. But as Leela reached the climax of her fury, preparing to cast a spell that would seal Lawrence's fate, he harshly uncapped the vial and splashed its contents toward her. A blinding light, a deafening scream, and then silence. Lawrence, panting and disoriented, found himself alone in the house. Leela and her son were gone, vanished, as if they'd never been there. The only testament to their existence was the upheaval in his home. As dawn broke, Lawrence, still in shock, began to pick up the pieces of his shattered life. The town was abuzz with whispers about Leela's sudden disappearance, but Lawrence kept his peace. He knew he had narrowly escaped a dire fate. Yet there was an unease that settled in his heart. Had he truly seen the last of Leela, or was this just the calm before an even greater storm? Only time would tell. As we continue on with our story, let us learn Lawrence's fate. In the Retribution's Reckoning. Following the harrowing confrontation, Lawrence knew he needed assistance. He sought out Madame Ilara, a voodoo queen and an old family friend renowned for her wisdom and power. When Lawrence recounted his ordeal, Ilara's eyes darkened and a look of deep contemplation settled in her features. She was no stranger to Leela's dark history. Ilara, drawing on her vast knowledge and expertise, crafted an intricate trap for Leela. Using a combination of sacred herbs, symbols, and rituals, she conjured a protective circle within her shrine. At its center, a small doll made to resemble Leela. Lawrence was astounded as he watched Ilara work her craft. He saw how she poured her energy into the doll, and with every chant and every gesture, the doll seemed to come alive with an essence eerily reminiscent of Leela. Ilara, with the doll now infused with a part of Leela's spirit, began a series of incantations designed to draw out the truth. And it did. A few nights later, as the moon was veiled in shadow, Leela found herself uncontrollably drawn to Madame Ilara's residence. As she stepped into the protective circle, she felt a crushing weight pressing down on her, compelling her to confess her sins. It was a sensation she couldn't resist. One by one, every deception, every enchantment, and every dark deed she had committed spilled from her lips. The haunting admissions were captured on tape by Lawrence, who had hidden recording devices throughout the room. With Leela's confessions, the legal web she had woven around Lawrence began to unravel. Leela's subsequent fate was harsh, but in line with the karmic retribution she had earned. Stripped of her ill-gotten gains and magical abilities, she found herself in a world where her beauty was her only currency. Her life spiraled into a series of unfortunate events, and she eventually turned to prostitution, with men using her just as she had once used them. As for her son, he was taken in by his father, a man Leela had once bewitched into submission. The boy grew up in a stable environment, shielded from his mother's dark past. However, time, as it often does, began to heal Leela's wounds. The severity of her punishment brought about a profound transformation. From the depths of despair, Leela clawed her way back, attending therapy, joining support groups, and working odd jobs. She learned the hard way about the perils of misusing power and the dire consequences it could bring. Years later, having made amends and turned her life around, Leela was finally reunited with her teenage son. Their relationship, once tainted by her deceit, began to blossom anew, built on trust and mutual respect. And thus, the tale came full circle, reinforcing the age-old lesson: the misuse of power, especially in matters of the heart and spirit, carries a price, one that sometimes takes a lifetime to repay. In the dim glow of twilight, our tales tonight remind us of the intricate web of consequences woven by ambition, deception, and the misuse of power. We ventured into the life of Lawrence, an unsuspecting landlord ensnared by Leela's manipulative charms and dark witchcraft. But as fate would have it, Lawrence sought help from Madame Ilara, a voodoo queen whose powerful rituals revealed the truth and set the stage for a gripping tale of redemption. Our journey then took us to Lila's descent, a stark warning of how one's dark deeds can shape their destiny. From the heights of manipulative prowess to the depths of despair, Leela's transformation and eventual redemption serve as a potent testament to the enduring human spirit and the cyclical nature of karma. As the curtain falls on tonight's episode, let's ponder upon the lessons shared. For in the shadowy corners of our world, magic, deception, and destiny intertwine, teaching us that every action, no matter how small or secretive, leaves an indelible mark. Thank you for joining us. Stay curious, tread wisely, and always be ready for another tale from the darker side of our existence. Until next time, dear listeners, good night.